Here are the 7 steps of service that you could give to your servers as soon as tonight, and I'm going to be incorporating sales strategies into almost all of them. Step number 1 is your first greet to your table. My script that I follow for this is hi, welcome in, maybe a quick compliment if I notice something that catches my eye that I like. And then if I'm working at a restaurant where we offer water, I would say, would you care for tap water, bottled still, or bottled sparkling? I am not trying to confuse the guest into ordering bottled water when they want tap. It is very sleazy, and you set yourself up for failure because now the table doesn't trust you anymore if you trick them into something that they don't really want to spend money on. And quite frankly, you're not convincing anybody to get bottled water just by not offering something that they really want. That's like assuming that if there was a car dealership with a ton of cars and you walked in and you were looking for a Toyota Prius, but you walked in and the sales guy says, hey, would you like a Lamborghini or Ferrari? The logic behind that is that you're just gonna take whatever they offer to you. And I understand the opposite side of it, which is like, obviously it's a little bit more likely for them to buy that bottled water if you offer it that way, but the cons definitely outweigh the pros because more times than not, you're going to be giving off a bad first impression. If you don't have water, or if you do have water, this would be your next step. You would say, may I offer you a beverage? Now, when you say, may I offer you a beverage, you pause for a second and then you list out some beverage options. I always list out mocktails, cocktails, beer, wine, soda. Mocktails first, because you'd be surprised how many people you turn from just ordering water into a mocktail lover. Now, we're still on step number 1, but before you leave the table, you should plant seeds, and this is your time to mention the specials. So this could be considered like step 1.5, and all you have to say is start thinking about appetizer, 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 and for entrees we're featuring, and then list out 2 entrees and describe them. Even if you don't have specials, I would still feature a couple items, maybe ones that you personally like as a server, or ones that are a little bit more expensive or exclusive or popular there. When you come back for step number 2 is when you're dropping off drinks and actually taking that appetizer order. The verbiage for this is like, which one sounded good to you, or what were we thinking, what are we sharing for starters today, and maybe list out a few more for them. You could also attempt, if your restaurant requires you to take the entire order at once, you could get the whole order here. You may have to come back that second time for the actual order. Between the moments of they got their first drink, they ordered appetizers, and now they're waiting for appetizers, I'm keeping an eye out for how fast they're drinking, because if they get to a halfway full or a third of the way full of their drink pretty fast, I will be offering a second one pretty fast. The way you do it is another one now or in a few minutes. So this could be considered step number 3, is that quality check, that verbal quality check of where they're at on their drinks. You could also use this opportunity to pre-mark your tables for that appetizer starter course to come out. So that nonverbal quality check of just eyeing the table and making sure they're doing great is kind of something that we do constantly, but that's really step number 3, and you can consider step number 4 to be actually offering those refills verbally. You'll notice as a server, if you're really paying attention between that time where the first drink hits and before they get the starters, you're paying attention to their drink level and you're offering another round then, they'll tend to drink a lot faster. You'll find there'll be a lot more times where a table actually gets 3 drinks instead of 2 drinks. Now, after offering refills, appetizers hit the table, let's say, this is your chance to non-verbally, meaning you're not saying anything, but you're checking in on the table, making sure they got everything, making sure everything's going good, maybe mentioning refills at this time instead of before, depending on where they're at. And then while they're like about to wrap up with their starters, this is about step number 5, when you're actually pre-marking the table for the main course. Now, this is different than what most people do. Most people mark the table after they pre-bus the appetizer course. What I recommend is you actually mark and pre-bus relatively at the same exact time. I oftentimes do it before I actually take the plate. So I'll drop off maybe a sharp knife for this person while they're finishing up their starters, take a plate then, drop off something else, take a plate then, go back and forth. And quick mention, if you didn't take the whole order at once, then you could add in an extra step, which would be getting their entire main course order. And you always want to do that before their starters hit the table. They will always order more before they see their food. Also, it gives you an opportunity to take the menus away before the starters actually hit. Now, when their food hits, you want to do a verbal quality check, meaning you're using your words at 2 minutes or 2 bites into the main course. You're gonna say something like, how's dinner? Or how is everything? Or what are we thinking? You could also check in with like, what else may I bring for you all? Eyeball each individual guest, make sure that nobody really needs anything, or just start noticing that they need stuff. Next step after that, I think I'm on step number 6 or 7 at this point, but after they finish their entrees, we obviously want to pre-bust the table, and then we're gonna plant another seed. You remember how we planted seeds about like start thinking about the starters and the features? We're gonna plant another seed about dessert. So we're gonna say, start considering our featured desserts tonight. We have this, which is great to share. We have this, XYZ comes with this. I'll give you a few minutes. Oftentimes they'll just ask for the check, then you bring them their check. Other times you give them a few minutes, you come back and you say, what are we sharing for dessert tonight? If you do get them dessert, obviously it adds a few steps of pre-marking with spoons, and then you could drop the check when they're about a few bites into their dessert. You don't have to wait till they're finished, you could drop it then. They'll oftentimes pay before they're actually done, so when they're done with dessert, they could get up and leave. You never want to hold a table hostage because they're waiting for their check. But your last step is always gonna be after you drop the check, they pay, you have to give a meaningful goodbye. So I usually do this. Let's say they give me a credit card, I cash them out, and I bring back the check and they're about to tip me. I do a meaningful goodbye, meaning I might mention something that happened during the experience and like thank them for coming. Welcome back, come back during this. We have this event on Friday. Add something in more than just saying thank you so much, have a great rest of your night. You could do another meaningful goodbye on their way out and thank them again, but that's really the last and final step. And if you are a restaurant owner and you do want some more help training your entire team, that's what we do as a company. We train your team for you. If you're considering doing that or want to weigh the options on how much it costs or the program that we provide, all you have to do is book a call below, click one of the links, book a free demo with us, and we'll give you a demo of everything going on, but also make it all specific to you. Consider that, and also like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.